All right, today we're going to tackle a big one, the Scaled Agile Framework, or SAFe. Now, I know it can look incredibly complex, almost intimidating at first glance, but our goal here is to break it all down, piece by piece, so you can see exactly how it helps organize, literally, thousands of people to build some amazing things together. So, let's dive in.
First things first, let's talk about the problem SAFe is trying to solve. Just picture it. You've got a massive company with thousands of incredibly smart people. Developers, designers, product managers, you name it. How on earth do you get them all pulling in the same direction to create something huge and complicated without it all just descending into pure chaos? That's the million-dollar question.
And this is the proposed solution, the Scaled Agile Framework. Yeah, I know, at first glance it looks like a subway map for a city you've never been to. But hey, don't let it intimidate you. Think of us as your guide on this journey, and I promise, by the end of this, you'll be able to read this map like a pro.
Now, before we start exploring the map, we have to understand the philosophy behind it. Its DNA, if you will. SAFe is really built on 4 core values. It all kicks off with alignment. I mean, if everyone isn't rowing in the same direction, you're not going anywhere. Then there's built-in quality, which is this deep commitment to not cutting corners, to doing things right at every single step. Supporting that is transparency, which is all about making things visible to build trust. And finally, program execution, a laser focus on actually delivering working software. These 4 ideas are the pillars that hold the whole thing up.
Okay, our tour is going to start at the very top of the map, the portfolio level. This is the highest altitude, the C-suite view, where the big strategic question gets answered. Why are we even doing any of this? So this portfolio level is the crucial bridge connecting the company's grand strategy to the actual teams writing the code. This is where the huge decisions get made, where we're going to invest our money, and which major projects get the green light.
And the main thing they talk about up here is something called an epic. Now, don't think of this as just a new feature. An epic is a massive enterprise-level initiative. It's a huge investment that's meant to move the needle for the entire business.
So how do you manage these gigantic ideas? Well, you use something called a portfolio kanban. It's really just a visual system to see an epic's journey from a spark of an idea all the way to completion. Ideas get tossed in the funnel, they get reviewed and analyzed for their business case, and the best ones move into the backlog to be built. It's how you get that transparency we were talking about.
And who are the key players making these big decisions? Well, there are 3 main roles. You've got epic owners, who are basically the champions for each big idea, shepherding it through the system. You have enterprise architects, who make sure the technical foundation is solid, and then you have the lean portfolio management team. They're the ones with the ultimate authority on strategy and, you guessed it, the money.
Okay, so we've established the why at the portfolio level. Now let's move down our map to the program and solution levels to see how these giant epics actually get turned into reality.
This middle section of our map is really the heart of coordination in SAFe. This is where that high-level strategy gets translated into an actionable plan. It's all about orchestrating the work of potentially hundreds of people, all working on the same solution.
And the engine that powers all this coordination is the Agile Release Train, or ART for short. The train analogy is pretty perfect, actually. Think of it as a high-speed train where each car is a different Agile team, but they're all locked together, heading to the same destination on a reliable schedule. It's a team of teams that plans and executes together.
So you can't build a giant epic all at once, right? It's like that old question, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. In SAFe, you break down those big epics into smaller, more manageable chunks called features. A feature is a piece of value the customer can actually see and use, and it's sized just right so a single ART can deliver it in one planning cycle. And that planning cycle has a name. It's called a Program Increment, or PI. It's this fixed time box, usually about 8 to 12 weeks long, where the whole train is working to deliver a new batch of features. It's long enough to get significant work done, but short enough to stay flexible. And every single PI kicks off with this massive 2-day planning event where everybody on the train gets together to hash out the plan.
Now, every train needs a crew to keep it on the tracks. You've got product management, who act as the voice of the customer, defining what features to build. There's the release train engineer, or RTE, who you can think of as the chief conductor of the train, making sure everything runs smoothly. And then you have the business owners, key stakeholders who ensure the train is actually delivering real business value.
We've explored the why and the how. Now it's time to drill down to the foundation, the team level.
This is where the rubber meets the road, where the actual work gets done. This is the what.
So we've made it to the bedrock of our map. This is where all that high-level strategy and planning finally becomes real, working software. Everything we've talked about, epics, features, ARTs, it's all designed to support these agile teams, the ones who are actually building and delivering value in short, fast cycles.
At this level, those features we talked about get broken down one more time into even smaller pieces called stories. A user's story is just a tiny, bite-sized description of a piece of functionality from a user's point of view. It's small enough that a single team can finish it completely in just a couple of weeks.
And the teams themselves are set up to be these little powerhouses. They're cross-functional, which is just a fancy way of saying they have all the skills they need. Coding, testing, design, you name it, right there on the team. This gets rid of delays and lets them move super fast. Inside each team, you'll probably recognize these roles from Scrum. You've got the product owner, who decides what the team works on and in what order. The Scrum Master is the coach, helping the team work better and clearing any roadblocks. And of course, the Agile development team, the folks who actually build the product.
Okay, so we've visited each level of the SAF framework. Now, let's zoom out and connect all the dots. Let's see how a single idea actually flows through this entire system, from the very top all the way down to the bottom.
This table lays it all out perfectly. You can really see the whole cascade of work. A big business idea starts as an epic. If it's truly massive and needs multiple trains, it's broken into capabilities. Then, for a single ART, it becomes a feature. And finally, the teams break that feature down into stories they can build. This top-down connection is the secret sauce. It ensures that every single line of code written is directly tied to a strategic goal.
So what's the bottom line here? If you had to boil SAFe down to its essence, it's really about these three things: getting everyone aligned on a common vision, helping them collaborate effectively, and most importantly, delivering real, tangible business results.
And that complex map we started with, it's really a powerful guide. It's a structured answer to that huge problem we talked about at the beginning. How do you get massive, traditionally slow organizations to move with the speed and agility of a much smaller company?
And that brings us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? For these huge organizations, is a framework like SAFe a necessary guide to navigate incredible complexity, or does it risk becoming an overly rigid process that actually stifles the very agility it's trying to create? You know, there's no easy answer, and it really depends on the company. Something to think about. Thanks for joining us on this tour through the Scaled Agile